Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our beloved speaker for today, His Grace, Sri ADVAITA-ACARYA Prabhu. And all glories are assembled by Vaishnavi devotees. As always, we thank you for being here. Today is Tuesday, the 27th of January, 2026. It is a privilege, it is an honor that we have His Grace, Sri ADVAITA-ACARYA, who will be speaking to us, or I should say with us today. So, Prabhuji, you're welcome to your own home, Hare Krishna, Africa. So, I believe we have 3 verses to cover today. And we may put the verses on the screen and you take it over for me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhu.
Accept my humble obeisances.
Jai.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada
Ki Jai.
and all the wonderful devotees of the Supreme.
Jai.
Greetings from Sunshine State. Sunshine, that is Florida, but we like to also remember that it's Sunshine State of consciousness. Because if you step outside today, this morning, here in Florida, the Sunshine State, you'll be like, hey, who turned the heat off? It is freezing here in Florida. I think if the rain fell, it will be snow.
Wow.
So I think it's coming from north. I think
Yes.
it's coming from Sahadev. Prabhu.
We are 0 degrees.
0. Oh my
Yes.
Goodness. It's freezing here too.
Yeah.
And but as we say, there might be freezing outside, but the hearts are still warm.
Yeah.
We want to keep the cool head and hearts on fire for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga.
Yeah.
So let us cover a beautiful section here, 3rd canto, 15th chapter, entitled, beautiful title 2, Description of Kingdom of God. And I believe we're covering 40 to 42.
Yes.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasan Tato Jaya Mudhirayet Nashta Prayeshva Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyutama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavatir Naishtiki. Before the reciting of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means on conquest, one should offer his respectful obeisances unto Narayan, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan Rishi, Supremmost Human Being, unto the Goddess of Learning, Mother Saraswati, and unto the author, Srila Vyasadeva, and commentator, Srila Prabhupada. By regular service rendered to Srimad Bhagavatam and to the person Bhagavat, everything that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised by chosen hymns, is established from within as irrevocable fact. So I'm going to go. It's easier for me to read from the screen here, but hopefully you can follow on Zoom screens. Pitam shukhe pritu nitam bini vispurantya kanchalibi vidutaya vanamalaya cha valgo prakosha valayam vinata sutam se vinyasta hastam mitarena dunanam bhabjam. Translation, he was adorned with a girdle that shone brightly on the yellow cloth covering his large hips, and he wore a garland of fresh flowers, which was distinguished by humming bees. His lovely wrists were graced with bracelets, and he rested one of his hands on the shoulder of Garuda, his carrier, and twirled a lotus with another hand. Purport. Here is a full description of personality of Godhead as personally experienced by the sages. Who are the sages? They are four Kumaras, perfected Brahmavadis, fully self-realized on a Brahman platform. The Lord's personal body was covered with yellow robes, and his waist was thin. In Vaikuntha, whenever there is flower garland on the chest of personality of Godhead or any of his associates, it is described that the humming bees are there. So these are the four Kumaras that pass through many, many gates. This is the final gate that they were stopped, and that there was the dispute, as you are all aware. Dispute that Supreme Mediator, Budsman, Conflict Resolution Mediator, Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original, the OG of mediation, has come to a rescue. And four Kumaras, although perfectly situated in their Brahman realization as perfect Brahmavadis, they are amazed. They are stunned with the sight that they behold. All these features were very beautiful and attractive for the devotees. One of the these are the characteristics of the personality of Godhead, Narayana. I lose you for a moment?
Yeah, 41.
You can imagine in an eye of your mind, you can just imagine these. After all, these are the descriptions of the kingdom of God. So we should be very eager to hear, and we are getting a sneak peek to Vaikuntha, or to the Lord of Vaikuntha, Vaikuntha-nath, how he, as we heard, is standing there, garlanded with the beautiful fresh flowers, around whose Always there are humming bees, resting one of his hands on Garuda, on his carrier, and another one, it was twirling with the lotus flower. Very, very much so carefree. You can catch that drift. 41. Vidyut kshipam makara kundala mandanarha gandha sano nasa mukam maninat kiritam dordanda sanda vivare harata parardya harena kandara gatena cha kaustubena. His countenance was distinguished by cheeks that enchanted the beauty of his alligator-shaped pendants, which outshone lightning. They were so bright, so shiny, that they were more shiny than the lightning. Have you ever seen the lightning? It's very bright. There's nothing more bright after the sun than the lightning. And they were in the shape of alligators. Here in Gainesville, there is a football team, and their mascot is gator or alligator. Florida is full of alligators. We just saw, 2 days ago, Sunday, we saw an alligator in a depot park. There was a baby gator just resting and sunbathing. Not far from in a lake that was part of the park, depot park. And everybody's shouting here, "Go Gators, go Gators," when there's football games. And if you want to be recognized by any of the Gainesville Vasis, you just shout, "Go Gators." So Krishna has honored all the gators. All the gators are special because Krishna's earrings, or rather, should I say, Vishnu, by Kuntanath's, earrings are shaped, alligator-shaped. Prabhupada uses in translation pendants. Pendant is usually referring to like a broche or a larger piece of decoration or jewelry that it's pinned to a cloth. But here, because it's large, Prabhupada uses the word pendants, and they were nevertheless placed on Vaikuntanath's ears, beautiful ears. And those alligator-shaped pendants were beautified by those beautiful ears. Everything that Krishna or Vishnu is wearing is only beautified by the presence of the Lord. It's not the other way around. It's not that we are decorating and beautifying by the decorations and jewelry, but rather whatever we contribute, it becomes millions of times more beautified by the presence of the Lord. Millions of times more attractive, more valuable by the presence of the Lord. So many zeros we might have, so many zeros, so much jewelry, so much resource, so much facility, so much knowledge, but unless that one is added to in front of the zero, they all remain zeros. The same goes for the alligator-shaped pendants. They're only there, the greatness and the value of those pendants is because of the presence of the Lord. So we need to put that Go Gators in a context here in Gainesville. His nose was prominent and his head was covered with a gem-studded crown. A charming necklace hung between his stout arms, and his neck was adorned with a gem known by the name Kaustuba. And text 42, which is the final text for today, also with the purport. Atro pashritam iti kutsmitam indiraya swanam diya virachitam bahu sostavadhyam mayam bhavasya bhavatam cha bhajantam angam nemo nirikshya na vitripadrisho mudakaihi. The exquisite beauty of Narayan, being many times magnified by the intelligence of his devotees, was so attractive that it defeated the pride of goddess of fortune in being the most beautiful. My dear demigods, the Lord who does manifest himself is worshipable by me, by Lord Shiva, and by all of you. The sages regarded him with unsatiated eyes and joyously bowed their heads at his lotus feet. So the sages, for Kumaras, regarded him. So they could unsatiated, they could not have it enough. They were just drinking that beauty of the Lord of Vaikuntha and drinking and drinking and drinking. Ultimately, although we understand and we know that although they were perfect Brahmavaris, they were nevertheless attracted by the aroma and by the fragrance of the air coming from the Lord's lotus feet, hitting the tulsi buds of tulsi manjaris, mixed together. The aroma and the fragrance of the air had a very profound and powerful effect in their consciousness. And that was their upgrade, transcendental upgrade, with a little bit of Krishna, of Vishnu Prasad. Purport. The beauty of the Lord was so enchanting that it could not be sufficiently described. There's a verse in Narada Bhakti Sutra. It's just one line, Mukaswat, that it is very difficult for one who experiences the transcendental beauty, like Sokumaras here. It is very difficult to describe it. It is, to describe it, it is as to expect from the mute, or one who cannot speak, to explain what he is eating. This is from Narada Bhakti Sutra. How can a mute explain what he is eating? It will be very difficult. There's no, the words fall short. So it is, it could not be sufficiently described. We try, but it can never be sufficiently described. We also see that in Damodar Lila, by the way, speaking about earrings, in Damodar Lila, we also, Lasat Kundalam, we hear about those beautiful shark-shaped earrings of Krishna, who are coming and swinging to and fro, kissing his cheeks, also beautifying their existence by the presence of the Lord. Our life also is beautified, it's more valued as we set it and utilize it for the pleasure of the Lord. There in that Damodar Lila, you will find that after Yamala Arjuna trees were delivered, in their prayers, they say, it is much better to offer you our prostrated obeisances than to fully understand your creation, that we cannot. What to speak of understanding the Lord himself? So therefore, a Lord's devotee's conclusion is, I worship the unconceivable one, and I offer my heart to him, understanding that he is infinite, he's achintya, is inconceivable, and to the extent that my devotion is pure, to that extent he can reveal himself. This is the angle of the bhakti process, the angle that we were taught by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the 6 Goswamis. Atashi Krishna namadi nabavet grayam indriyahi sevonmukhehi jivado svayam evaspuratyadah. As taught by the Goswamis, that Krishna's name, Krishna's form, anything in relation to Krishna, we cannot fully understand and fully appreciate by the dense material senses, but by the engagement of the senses with the right attitude, of which the first one is engaging of the tongue, gradually, the Lord will reveal himself. In the darkness of night, we cannot find way by our artificial lights, but rather we wait for the morning and a rising sun where everything becomes clear as a daylight. So this is the process of bhakti. Utsaha nishchayadayat. By enthusiasm and patience and confidence and determination, we make a headway. And in due course, things become understood. And there's no end to it. We cannot put a ceiling to bhakti. Bhakti is, as the Lord is infinite, bhakti is also infinite. So there's perfect, and then more perfect, and more perfect, and there's no end to it. There's no end to it. We're never satiated by the process. We're never tired by the process. Just the opposite. The more you have it, the more you want it. So the goddess of fortune is supposed to be the most beautiful sight within the spiritual and material creation of the Lord. She has a sense of being the most beautiful, yet her beauty was defeated when the Lord appeared. So this is in comparison, in contrast, that the Lord appeared even more beautiful than the goddess of fortune. She is known as Shri. Shri means most beautiful. But yet, her beauty was defeated when the Lord appeared. And the Lord appeared on a scene, as I mentioned earlier, to help the dispute between the doorkeepers and the sages, for Kumaras. He came to rescue immediately. He didn't even took time to put his slippers on. He just rushed to the scene. And by his presence, he outshined everyone. In other words, the beauty of the goddess of fortune is secondary in the presence of the Lord. In the words of Vaishnava poets, it is said that the Lord's beauty is so enchanting that it defeats hundreds and thousands of cupids. What is that? Brahma Samhita. Kandarpakoti kamaniya vishesha shobha. Kandarpakoti. Kandarpa. It's Cupid. Koti. Kamaniya. So many thousands and thousands of cupids. He defeats. The splendor of Lord's beauty defeats hundreds of thousands of cupids. And we know in this world everybody is enchanted by Madana. Madana Cupid. Oh, he enchants everybody. And if one wants to overcome the effects of this agitation, affliction, it is described that one has to meditate on the eyebrows of the Lord. So it's a very nice meditation, especially for grihastas. It is recommended that they worship Archa Vigraha, and because that will bring about regulated existence. And then, in terms of the potency, the Lord's eyebrows are very powerful in overcoming this Madana, agitation of Cupid. He is therefore called, who is called? The Lord is called Madana Mohana. We have in Vrindavan Madan Mohan Didi. The temple is still there, Sanatana Goswami's temple. Beautiful temple in Vrindavan. Established. It's an old, rather old deity. It's the deity that Krishna's grandson established thousands of years back, and still going on. How did they end up to Sanatana Goswami? That's an interesting story. Maybe we'll have time for it today, maybe not, we'll see. But anyway, it's a beautiful story, at least that one portion when before the temple was built. It is also described that the Lord sometimes becomes mad after the beauty of Radharani. So this is another level. We have Madan Mohan, and then there's Madan Mohan Mohini, one who enchants those who enchant the Cupid. Poets described under those circumstances, although Lord Krishna is Madan Mohan, he becomes Madan Daha, or enchanted by the beauty of Radharani. Actually, the Lord's beauty is super excellent, surpassing even the beauty of Lakshmi in Vaikuntha. The devotees of the Lord in Vaikuntha planets want to see the Lord as the most beautiful, but the devotees in Gokula or Krishna Loka want to see Radharani as more beautiful than Krishna. So this is the difference in rasa. There's 5 rasas. You know the rasa tattva? 5 primary, 7 secondary rasas. 5 primary, Shanta Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Then 7 secondary rasas, of which one is chivalry. And this whole thing, this whole dispute, the whole very unusual situation happens because of the Lord's desire to fight, of which the devotees, like Kumaras, picked on it. So they were, as proper devotees are, always lined up with the desire of the Lord. So they were instrument for that, to make that happen. Not only them, but also the door keepers were also lined up, accepting the roles of those which the Lord will come to fight in the future, very near future. So two different rasas. The devotees in Vaikuntha, they want to see the Lord as the most beautiful, but not in Vrindavan, not in Gokula or Krishna Loka. They want to see Radharani as more beautiful, more beautiful than Krishna. The adjustment is that the Lord, being Bhaktavatsala, or one who wants to please his devotees, assumes such features so that devotees like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other demigods might be pleased. So, in Vrindavan, there are devotees of Radharani, and everybody chants Radhe Radhe because they know by pleasing and serving her, we come to Krishna. Flash news, devotees, flash news. We are not after Krishna. We are after bhakti. Because only by bhakti we can get to Krishna. Only through Radharani. That's why her hand is up. It's mercy, but it's also checking. What is her mercy? Her mercy is devotional service. She is bhakti personified. She is devotional service personified. So only through devotional service we can approach Krishna. Only through recommendation of her devotees we can get to be even noticed by Krishna. Because we are very tiny and Krishna is Vibhu, is great. We are Anu, very small. So what comes in between is a whole lot of mercy and a magnifying, kind heart of Radharani, who steps in, and by her recommendation, we get to be noticed. Of course, this manifests in our life in a form of the spiritual master, because spiritual master is direct representative of Srimati Radharani and on Balaram. Shri Radhika Madhava Para Madhurya Lila Gunarupanam Nam. So this is how we get to Krishna. And Krishna is Bhaktavatsala. The only thing he wants to please his devotees. And he reciprocates just accordingly. Even with those who want to fight with him. He fulfills all of desires. He also, for devotee sages, the Kumaras, the Lord appeared in his most beautiful feature. And they continued to see him without association. They couldn't get satiated, or they couldn't get enough, and wanted to continue seeing him more and more and more. It's like an ocean. It's like drinking ocean. You can never really finish. The ocean of drinking the nectarian ocean of Lord's beauty. There's no end to it. And these are the experiences of devotees. Omang jnana timirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshuru militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Darati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Bol. So, this is such a beautiful part where Kumaras are checked at the entrance, but the Lord nevertheless comes to rescue. And he rushed to the scene immediately. Immediately he rushed to the scene, cooling. It was cooling the situation down. With his, how was he doing that? With his smile, he smiled, and also with his glance. They say also devotees, they can bless in three kind of ways. With their presence, with their words, but also with their glance and also with their smile. We see that with Srila Prabhupada and also with Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj and many other devotees. Just with their smile. I remember the way I encounter, and so I came across Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was that BTG article. I didn't even read the article. I just saw that beautiful ecstatic face with that beautiful ecstatic smile, and immediately my whole existence, entire existence was purified. So much power. But there was a problem. All that the Lord came, we know what happened. The Kumaras were cursed. And they were like, wait a minute, how is it? Well, that's another question. How did they end up being the doorkeepers if they see dualities? This was their argument. Those who see dualities, they don't believe that they don't belong to the spiritual world. And Kumaras were like, you deserve to become embodied souls. So, and then another question is, as Brahmavadis, how could even the sages or Kumaras come to the Vaikuntha world? They were not personalists. They were not full-fledged devotees of Vaishnavas. How could they even enter Vaikuntha? Only at the gate. They were only at the gate. They did not really enter. Although they passed, I don't know how many, 7 or 8 gates before that. There was many gates. On the final gate, they were stopped. So they did not enter really. And they were also Paramatma realized. So, in a sense, they did qualify to get a brief darshan, which was enough, by the way, just like that brief smile is enough to become recipient of mercy, to upgrade our existence. And it was due to the transcendental effects of the fragrance of tulsi mixed with the aroma of the air coming from Lord's feet. And the humming bees, they're always there. So similarly, like Kumaras, Shukadev Goswami also, if you remember, he was born, he was self-realized within the womb. That's why he didn't want to come out. He didn't want to come out for the full 16 years. Don't ask me how, but he refused. And when he came out, he was full-grown, 16-year-old boy. And just went straight to the forest. Also, fully self-realized, but Brahmavadi. Not a full-fledged Vaishnava, devotee, personalist. But what attracted him when his father, Srila Vyasadeva, sent others to look for him in a forest, the only thing that attracted him is the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam. That was the only thing that brought him back. So we see the power in personal features of the Lord, such as smile, such as glance, even the aroma from his feet, the activities, descriptions of his name, form, activities, nama, guna, rupa, lila. All of those have full potency to attract and to transform the heart, even of those who are self-realized. And those who are not devotees, they cannot see. They cannot see that. Pashyati na pashyati. They're seeing, but they're not seeing. So in front of the deities, we can see a wood, we can see a metal, we can see a marble or stone, but it is not wood, metal, or stone. It is Krishna himself. That is the way devotees are seeing. They see with the heart. The optics, the lenses by which the devotees perceive the world are different. Materialists, they see problems. Devotees, they see opportunities. Materialists, they see wood, stone, metal. Devotees, they see Krishna. Oh, Balaram. We were just discussing the other day, Kavi. Some of you know Kavi. Kavi is the son of Narasimha Tirtha Prabhu and Mara Lila. He asked me a question. We were just getting ready to load up the truck here with prasadam. He said, can I, he always has interesting questions. He said, what is the difference between worshiping Krishna in a picture and worshiping this truck? Can I worship this truck? the prasadam truck. I said, yes, you can see it as something that it's in relation to Krishna, because illusion is, what is Maya, what is illusion? To think that there's something separate from Krishna. So the way you can attend to this truck, you don't offer puja. I mean, you can, but it will be silly. The way you worship this truck is you maintain it nicely, because this truck is serving Krishna lunch. So you make sure that it's clean, the oil is there, changed regularly, it's full of gas, and it's maintained clean. That's how you attend to a truck. So there's a function and a form and a function. But when it's seen through the lenses of a devotee, then everything becomes so exciting and so wonderful. It becomes a stimuli, the impetus for service. And that is Balaram, paraphernalia, Krishna's paraphernalia. So this is how devotees are seeing. And unless you are a devotee, you cannot see. Even if Krishna comes right in front of us, Even if Krishna comes right in front of us, we'll still not be able to see. Because in order to see Krishna, we have to see through heart. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. We hear that also from the same poet, Brahmaji, Brahma Kavi. That only with the eyes that are smeared with the ointment of love, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, Santa Sadeva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. Within the heart, Santa, a saintly person, a purified person, can perceive the same Lord, Shyama Sundara form, everywhere he looks, everywhere he sees, everywhere he interacts. He perceives only that. Not in a homogenized, undifferentiated way, but in a various different ways. As a picture, as a deity, as a truck, as another Vaishnava. Oh, how do we see another jiva soul, not even just a Vaishnava, another jiva soul? How do we see the world around us? That is all defined by our consciousness. Consciousness creates reality. So those are the optics. And what can we see with these eyes anyway? What can we see with these eyes? Only limited spectrum we can see. So there's a great need to see with our heart. And we see by hearing. Jnana Chakshush. Then we can become Saragrahi. And we can be able to grasp the essence of everything. We'll be able to grasp the essence of life, and that is Krishna. Recently we were in Croatia for the winter break. And, I was really having fun. Because the way they say good day, in Croatia they say dobar dan. But when you say dobar dan, it sounds like govardhan. So, so I was going, and I told that to Kalindi, my wife, a while back. So I said, Kalindi, we can have a lot of fun. Just greet people with govardhan, govardhan. And they'll respond with dobardan, dobardan. Because when you say govardhan, govardhan, it's very, very close to dobardan. So we're having a lot of fun just going around, and everyone we greet, we come across and we meet, we greet them, govardhan, govardhan. It was a lot of fun, even just walking down the street to do that. But we're able to do that because there is a hidden understanding, awareness of how Krishna has manifested, and a closeness, in this case, linguistic closeness, gave us the opportunity to engage and to apply that. That is possible because we knew, or we became aware, where to look for it. Somehow devotees, they come across the great fortune, although we are looking since time immemorial, we are wondering in this and many other creations. We are wondering, Brahmanda Brahmitekon, Bhagavanti. So by some great fortune, we came across this inconceivable mercy. Bhagavan Jiva, by some great fortune, we have received this seed of bhakti given by Guru. Guru Kripaya Paya Bhakti Lata Beach. He comes and plants the seed. What are we going to do with that seed? Now the search is over. We don't have to search anymore. The search is over. You hit the jackpot. You don't have to search. But for doubtful soul, there's no, as Krishna said, for doubtful soul, there's no happiness in this or in the next world. We can doubt, but the devotee accepts by some great fortune. And I have a witness. I have an evidence. Evidence is the very person that has given me and planted this seed in my heart. That is the evidence. The search is over. Now I gotta dive deep myself, and take care of that bhakti lata, that creeper of devotion, that has a potential. It's the creeper that goes up and up and up, and it can penetrate all the layers, all the way to Vaikuntha sky, Paravyama, all the way to Krishna Loka, Radha Krishna. But it requires cultivation, just like any other seed. Early on, very much so protected from the rodents of doubts and bad association. Later, when it becomes a little stronger, maybe it's not that necessary, but still, one has to remain cautious and to cultivate very diligently, especially by watering the plant, by regular hearing and chanting. But all the search is over. We've found a place. We've found a place where we can find unlimited nourishment and everything we need for the growth. Growth that bhakti requires and bhakti needs to grow. We cannot stagnate. Stagnation is just next thing to degradation. The growth is required. If there is stagnation, we need to take a look at what is jamming the process, because bhakti, by nature, it invokes the infinite growth. So as we are growing, and as we are responding to opportunities that are given to us, we'll see how stagnation is not something that will fulfill us. Stagnation, it's never fulfilling. The nectar for which we are always anxious is there in Anandam Buddhivardhanam. It's in ever-increasing ocean of bliss. And for that, for growth to happen, a devotee always welcomes spiritual challenges. If we do not respond to spiritual challenges, that's a stagnation. If we don't perceive the spiritual challenges in the right light, and we complain about a noise while the opportunity is knocking at the door, that also is not good. It's the opportunity for growth. Bhaktirtha Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, has often said that in order to keep us spiritually alive, Guru and Gauranga always send our way some challenges. They find ways to keep us on our toes. We cannot be spiritually alive without some challenge. It is the very sign that we are spiritually alive. Not responding to those will bring about stagnation. So I was, last couple of days there in Croatia, I was in, it's a very interesting story. It was a very windy day, super windy. It was a north wind coming down hard, but I decided to take a walk, and it was these birds, they were coming, a seagull, and they were coming high. And I was like, wow, what a sight. Let me take a picture. So as I was pulling out my phone to take a picture, I had some, it wasn't a loose change. It was a couple of like maybe 10, 20, not dollars, but 20 euros, 10 euros, some loose paper bills. So I was pulling out the phone, the wind just like, I don't know, somehow the bills, they stuck to the phone and just went, it went all up in the air. And I was close to the shore. I was like, oh no, here comes my euros. So I caught all of them except the 10 euro bill just went like rolling right in front of me. Like, almost like making fun of me, like it can't catch me. And then the wind, the wire, just like the final blow, just kick it in the ocean. And the water was so like sturdy and like everything was like in commotion. And I just saw it. I was there. Like, what do I do? And I could do nothing but watch as the 10 euro bill just went like went to the bottom, disappearing under that murky water. I was like, okay, swaha to that. And I felt so bad, like, I did not think, that, and it's funny, I never actually handle Lakshmi in that way. I always put it in a safe place, but I was in a rush. It was some car repair, so he gave me the change, and I even forgot it was in the same pocket with my phone. So I felt bad, that I kind of deviated from my habits, and I didn't protect it. But and the next morning, first thing I woke up. First thing I was thinking about the 10 euro bill. And I said, you know what? Let me go and check it. I'm gonna go to the same place. I'm gonna go to the same place. I'm gonna go check it. See, and sure enough, it was a beautiful day. That wind has subsided. It was quiet, like no wind, sunny. The ocean was very calm. The water was clear, calm. So I went to the same place and I looked. Now that's a depth, where it dropped. It was quite deep. But then, I just, something told me like look to the right. So I looked to the right and it was more shallow, maybe up to my knees. And I was like, what's that on the bottom? And what are the odds? There was this like folded with a number 10 on it on the bottom, like knee deep. And I was like, what are the odds? I mean, what are the odds? I mean, this is crazy. And this is just to illustrate that the verse that I was quoting earlier, how the search is over. The wandering is over only because I had some idea where to look. Otherwise, the ocean, the magnitude of water, this body of water is so big, but by some and the magnitude of the universe and how tiny we are in a scale of a cosmos. And by some great fortune, become in contact with a 10 euro bill, I mean, with in a story, we had some idea where that could be, and so I was able to rescue it. It was a knee deep, but I got it. Still in my wallet. Okay, I see it's past 11. I'll stop here. Maybe this piqued some of your curiosity about some other things. I will see what you have to say at this point.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That's very beautiful. Dear devotees, if anyone may have questions, comments, reflections, realizations, you may want to ask or share, please indicate by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question or share your reflections. We have Madhupani Leela. Please, you may unmute, Madhupan.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much for your class you gave. It's always very nice and enlivening to hear from you. I was wondering on this topic of how we get different purifications, or Krishna sends us like different problems that we go through that like help us go deeper in our bhakti. I was wondering if you could speak a little bit more about that, especially for myself. I've been going through this problem that Krishna sent me, or not problem, but this mercy that Krishna sent me, but it's like super purifying. And almost sometimes like, are you sure this is actually meant for me, Krishna? Like maybe for someone else, like with a different name, there's probably lots of Madhupan Leelas. Maybe this is a different Madhupan Leela. So I'm just wondering if you can speak a bit on that, like how to handle purification when it comes and it's really heavy.
I see. Thank you. Hare Krishna, good to see you. Madhupan Leela, the close and intimate servant of Shri Radha Damodar.
Jai.
And Radha Damodar's devotees. Hare Krishna, and congratulations. I don't think I had the honor to say that yet, since your great day of Vivaha. Was it Vivaha?
Yes.
Ceremony? Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry I missed it, Madhupan Leela. Yeah, Krishna is very personal. Krishna is very personal. He will send things our way, and if it is too much, we always have say in it. I don't think Krishna ever takes that away, because that will kill the love and love in exchange. But I know that Krishna gives as much as we can handle, and then a little bit more, so we can surrender to him. And that's his way of keeping us on our toes. But when you're saying, when it appears maybe just a little bit too much, we still have a choice of coming to Krishna or not. So whatever the situation is, devotee always chooses to come to Krishna. And I'll give you an extreme example of another servant of Shri Radha Damodar, the OG servant, His Holiness Vishnu Janswami. Sometimes on their traveling Sankirtan party, Radha Damodar traveling Sankirtan party, Maharaj would come in front of Radha Damodar and he would say, "My dear Shri Radha Damodar, today I don't feel like thinking about you. I know you can change that. I know you can change that for me, but I don't wish you to change it. I just need to take a break." And I wish that you can honor that desire. And this is early on, and it's quite radical, maybe even today. It's radical to think that and to approach our spiritual growth with some room, very much so needed room for processing things. Because very often we push, leaving very little process things and to see not why is this uh, uh, um, um, why is this not why is this happening to me, but to understand how did I say? This is not happening to me. This is happening for me. This is happening for me. But how? Not why. Why kind of brings us in a whining, kind of complaining. But how? To understand how is this happening for me, and in what ways this is beneficial. Sometimes we need time to process, and that is perfectly fine. And we should be able to set the boundaries in order to have that need met. So that is my quick response on the importance of understanding how is this happening for me and in what ways this is bringing me growth and benefit in my progressive march back home, back to Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Madhupan Pataki, do you have something to add or clarify?
Hi, Krishna. Thank you so much for your response. It was really nice. I really liked those points. No, I don't have anything to add or clarify. I've been asking lots of different people just to get different inputs on different ways I should think about it. And every time I ask, I always get some point that I should take away that's very helpful. So I'm glad. I'm very grateful that I got that from you as well today.
All right, thank you. I remember asking a similar question to His Holiness Kavichandra Swami Maharaj some time ago, because in my early days in the Vishnu service, I think some devotees still say the same thing today, that whenever you go through, as a devotee, you go through some challenge, especially ailment, when you speak, devotees will say, oh, you're very fortunate. Krishna is purifying you. You're getting purified. So I asked His Holiness Kavichandra Swami Maharaj this question: if someone is sick and what it say you're getting purified, which is beautiful. So he said, Maharaj has a very interesting way of answering questions. he said, I don't know. And then he answered, says, I don't think Krishna will be so happy with a devotee and say that, oh, Madhupani Lila, I love you so much. I'm going to give you this problem. I'm going to give you this disease. I'm going to give you this worry. So I have one god brother who used to say, I think he still says the same thing. He says, because we are quick to say, whatever happens is Krishna's mercy, is Krishna's grace. But when I say something to hurt Madhuban Leela, everybody will say that I am being disrespectful to Madhuban. But nobody will accept that Probably that is also Krishna's plan for me to insult Madhupan, you know. So when it's about me, it's a different story. When it's about that person, it's a different story. So these are some of the challenges I personally sometimes come across in devotional service, because in every situation, anybody can find some sloka somewhere to support what they are saying or doing, unless we come across like an advanced devotee or maybe a guru. So, Prabhuji, my question to you is, in the case of community living, when one particular person is always giving so much headache to the rest of the devotees, yet this person giving headache to devotees keeps flourishing, but he or she is kicking people out of devotional service. Well, how do we see that? You are encouraging us not to ask why. So how do we see Krishna's role in this situation where one particular person, I don't want to mention them, but I know one particular person. This person has been causing so much trouble for devotees, but it's still a devotee. But lots of the people this person has been putting so much pain on them, they left the devotional service. How do we see Krishna's hand in situations like this? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Haribol. Yeah, long term. Yeah, we can never see long term enough. And what's really happening. It's hard to. Well, when it comes to hurting or encouraging devotees, Krishna is very serious about that. We know that, and we see many examples of how detrimental is to not even to be happy when we see another devotee. What to speak of neglecting them in a greater way. But that's something that it's between devotees and Krishna. Nobody can hurt us before we hurt ourselves. Sometimes Krishna puts our way devotees that will test us, test our enthusiasm, test our patience, and actually we're all testing each other. But it's true, what you're saying is true. Some examples and some tests may be more difficult, but nevertheless, that are sent our way to make us stronger, take a greater shelter. There can never be a one devotee that will become an excuse in our service to Guru and Gauranga. You know why? Because there's hundreds and thousands and hundreds of thousands other devotees that we can take shelter of. I think responsibility it's equally distributed to every single devotee. And I can only be responsible for my own spiritual life. What others are doing, they will have to be reporting about their whereabouts. You know, there's only two kinds of people in this world, right?
Mhm.
One who is expressing love and one who is crying for love. The easiest thing to say is, oh, this devotee is creating so much hell for so many devotees. That's externally might look that way, but internally we should try, at least we should try to come from the place of compassion, understanding and compassion. Yeah, that might be externally that way, but internally, what's really happening is that this person is crying for love. So for me, it's usually that is the signal of the lack of appreciation, especially for some of our leaders who have so much to deal with and so much to, on a regular basis, they have to, process and handle things. When insufficiently appreciated, that's going to make it that much harder for them to perform in an optimum way that it's pleasing to other devotees. And it will actually reflect it. It will spill over and reflect in a worsening relationship with those around them. Ultimately, as a cry for love, not as in over 90% of the cases, not as an intentional malice and destructive behavioral pattern. So once we understand that, then it becomes a little bit easier to navigate without pointing fingers and that blame game. Because it's really no one to blame, and it's everyone to appreciate. In Africa, there is, I forgot the name of, it's not a ritual, but it's what they do when there's somebody in a tribe that it's a criminal, has compromised their character. They put him in the middle, and then everybody in the tribe surrounds them, and they start telling them about their good qualities. And this goes on. There's no time limit. This goes on all the way, and it has to go on until that person in the middle breaks down, coming to the acceptance of their higher self in a process of a true reform. And that is what community is for. It's not there to make our life more difficult. It's there to give everybody an equal opportunity to feel supported. And sometimes it just takes one person to bring that change about.
Well,
So, Prabhu.
well, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the response. I don't think I expected anything different from what I heard from you, because that is the heart of devotee. But I have this doubt, and actually, it's not just doubt alone. It is actually a bewildering situation, whereby I think Govinda Prabhu asked a similar question here some time ago. When I know that Krishna is going to punish, let's say, Loka Devi for what Loka did to me. Krishna is going to discipline her. And Krishna's discipline is going to be far, far, far worse than the discipline I, as Jiva Atma, could give to Loka. And instead of me doing something or saying something to prevent Loka Devi from doing whatever she's doing to me so she does not get chastisement from Krishna, I just relax and say, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to do anything. I leave it to Krishna. Krishna will take care of it. If I have such attitude, wouldn't that also indicate that I don't truly care for the person because I know that this person is going to face the wrath or the chastisement of Krishna? So my question in short is that what do we do as devotees to help avoid devotees facing the wrath of Krishna, when we know for sure that what this particular person is saying is wrong, what this particular person is doing is wrong? What should we do?
Yeah, we definitely shouldn't be irresponsible. There's two sides of extremes. One is overreacting or not being able to respond properly. And usually very often actually, we overreact by retaliating, which, we put a blame and we just go for it. The other side, when we swing our pendulum, the other side of the spectrum is just blatant disinterest and lack of care and lack of involvement at all, if at all, and just ignoring the fact. So what's in between is doing our best to communicate, to express our heart, to try to connect, and ultimately, as I said earlier, find ways to appreciate, because there's something in the fabric of relationship that it's broken. And usually, like I said, it's just one person that cares enough to keep digging and keep trying to find ways to connect. Not because we want, because very often it's a very bitter pill to swallow, but because we know that it's something that will be very pleasing to Guru and Gauranga. And I'm not saying, and I'm not canvassing for the improper behavior of abuse and mistreatment. These are the statements that I'm making that are they are to take place in a safe place and a regulated environment. If needed, more people can be involved. I guess that's called a third party. And then through communication and determination, some understanding of needs, what are those unmet needs, can take place. Because that's all that is. People have needs, and sometimes those needs are possible to fulfill right there and then. And sometimes we cannot, but at least, and that's called a boundary. If there are needs and we are not able to fulfill them and vice versa, then at least we can set up some boundaries, right? But all that is possible only if we get engaged. So not getting engaged or ignoring the situation, it's never a good thing. But we should do our part as if everything depends on us, but yet with understanding, acting in understanding that it ultimately depends on Krishna. But at least we can say we tried. We should not be afraid of making a mistake or failing in our attempts. Actually, yeah, we should never be afraid. Just the opposite. We should be encouraged in trying and making mistakes, because that's how we're going to learn. And especially in the field of relationship, which, by the way, Krishna is all about that. Krishna is not into religious business. He is into a relationship business. So as devotees, we always care about others. We always care, not what we say and what we do, we always care about how we make people feel. Then there's hope that our efforts, our endeavor, somewhat will be pleasing to Guru and Gauranga. So, yeah, we should never be that negligent or that hurt not to care.
Well, thank you. Remember, Gurudev spoke so much about in today's world, people chase after commodity instead of community. So personally, I'm praying that we chase after community instead of commodity. That means our better relationship with people. I was very much fascinated hearing you quote Vishnu Jan Swami and his relationship with Sri Radha Damodara. And I say fascinated because I sometimes speak like that to Krishna also. So I realized that after all, I'm not too foolish because if Vishnu Jan Swami spoke like that to Sri Radha Damodara, I mean, not like I'm asking Krishna to help me do something very stupid, but like I want to do something to serve Krishna. And it's becoming so difficult. And so sometimes I pray to Krishna, I say, Krishna, if even you know that this is not good for me, you are the Supreme Lord. You can change it. I want to do this to serve you. I want to do this to serve my Guru. Please make it work well. But that's why I oftentimes do not pray to Krishna, because I believe this Krishna is going to do whatever he wants to do. So I want to just get your advice as to how to approach Krishna, knowing that me asking Krishna to do this for me, he may do, he may not do. If he may do, he may not do, then why do I have to tell him? I should just be quiet. If he wants to do it, then he does it. If he doesn't want to do it, he won't do it. So in such a situation, what do I do? Prabhuji, please help.
I know the answer.
No, I don't know. Oh, the only thing I do is that I don't tell him anything.
Yeah, I'm tired of telling you, you're ignoring me. This is this kind of ties into a story of Sanatana Goswami, and in the purport we heard of Madan Mohan. He became a custodian or caretaker of that beautiful deity of Madan Mohan. It was a very ancient deity, and it came from Krishna's grandson, and then sun god even. It was in a care of a sun god, and there's a whole history of that deity, powerful deity. But he was worshiping Madan Mohan in a very, very simple way of offering those rotis, which is just a mixture of water and a flour. And there was no salt. The deity was like in a tree. There was no temple, because Sanatana Goswami was very busy writing literature as instructed by his spiritual master, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he was writing, most of his days he was writing literature, but he also took care of that deity. So the way his puja went is, the main ingredient was that once a day he would offer that roti, simple roti, no salt, just water and flour. And he would offer that. But then the deity, Madan Mohan, would appear in a dream begging for some salt. And then Sanatana Goswami would argue with Madan Mohan. No. Now you're asking for salt. Tomorrow is going to be something else. You're already giving me my service. I'm too busy. I will not provide. I will not spoil you. And but ultimately, Madan Mohan made an arrangement himself, and there was a big merchant, salt merchant, nevertheless, that his ship got stuck nearby on Jamuna. And this wealthy merchant went around asking people to help, and he came across Sanatana Goswami. He told him, revealed his mind. He told him his predicament. And then Sanatana Goswami said, okay, I'll pray to my deity. So as he prayed to Madan Mohan, the Yamuna river went up and unstuck the boat, and the boat was able to continue. And in a gesture of gratitude, this rich merchant offered Sanatana Goswami riches, of which, of course, Sanatana Goswami refused, because he was a mendicant, Vrindavan mendicant, one of the 6 principal mendicant disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And but then merchant was insisting to reciprocate, and ultimately he agreed, not for himself but for his deity Madan Mohan, for this beautiful temple to be built. So this is how little salt, or should we say no salt, has brought about, by Krishna's arrangement, by Madan Mohan's arrangement, a whole lot of salt that manifested in a form of that beautiful temple. Also illustrating how Krishna is a person. And I always often remind myself that, thank God, Krishna is a person, and that he understands, as you pointed out, he understands our heart better than we do. But yet, it is nice to come forth and express that heart ourselves, not because Krishna needs it, because we need it. We have left that meeting place. Heart is a meeting place, but we have left that meeting place. We have been lost since time immemorial in a jungle of our mind, in a jungle of our anarthas, in a jungle of oblivion of that loving relationship. So whatever we offer to Krishna it is not for his benefit. Krishna does not need our chapatis, our rotis. He needs our love. So how do you express your love, Sahadev Prabhu? How do you express your love? It's not a mute point. It's not because we cannot never express enough now we don't express it at all. That's a wrong logic. We express as much as we can feel it, and feelings are so important. Whatever those might be, you might be upset with Krishna, you might be mad at him, but come forward and offer to him. He will take the poison out. And as Bhava Grahi Janardana, he will take the essence only. He will take the good. For our benefit. For our benefit. That's why we offer prayers. That's why we engage our senses. That's why we engage our mind. That's why we offer our very life, our existence. So we can benefit. He doesn't need it. We need it. Sadhe Prabhu.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
We can only purify things if they're engaged. Things don't get purified if they're idle. We only purify things when they're engaged.
I think the answer you gave to my question reflects the instruction Gurudev gave to me. I had gone to meet with Gurudev when we knew that he was going to leave us. And I was very much scared going to see him with that question, but I also felt I had to ask him the question. I wanted to find out from him what he would want me to do in his physical absence. And he said to me, just love Krishna. So I'm trying to do that. It's very difficult, but I'm trying to do that. And I know true love is unconditional. So I try my little best and I leave the rest to Krishna. I am not yet on the level where I can say, Krishna can do whatever with me. I'm not there yet. And that is why I battle. Sometimes I say, Krishna, why did you do this? Why would you do that? I whine and complain. But with your help, blessings, and the blessings of devotees, I think we all are praying to get to that point where we say that, Krishna, use me as you like or as you wish. But it's a far destination to get to. But I believe as long as we are in the process, eventually we'll get there. So thank you so much for this Krishna Katha, the encouragement, the lessons, the responses to our questions, which are all very important. And my personal prayer is that I do not just become a listener, but also a doer. So this is my prayer. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. If anyone has something to ask or to say, please, you may do that before we bring this to a close.
Yes, please. My email is not working, so.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Shri Prabhu.
My emoji is not working, so sorry. I have to. Jack.
Go ahead.
Please accept my humble obeisance to Sister Prabhupada.
Jack.
Thank you very much. Very nice discussions. Sadie Prabhu's question, 2 questions he had, and these 2 questions, they seem to maybe one nullifies the other. So I would like to read 2 questions and then say what is powerful to me. The first question is, say somebody is found to be a disturbance to the devotees, but it's flourishing. So he wants to know how is that. And then the second
Oh, you need
question,
to scan it?
is my voice clear?
Yeah, you were breaking up, but it's okay now.
Okay. So the first question,
Yes.
Sadi Prabhu asked, if somebody is disturbance, that there are cases of devotees who are disturbance in the devotional community, but they're still flourishing. And then the second question is, what to do if you find somebody who is doing something wrong, and you know that Krishna's wrath, Krishna's punishment will be bigger, and if you don't do anything, are you really helping that person? Now, I find these two questions, one is nullifying the other. First, if you ask, if somebody is doing something wrong, somebody seems to be a community and is flourishing. So, well, we may give different interpretation, but it only boils down to one thing, that Krishna doesn't see the way we see. We think that it's a disturbance, but probably it's actually Krishna's best servant. Like Maya Devi, it's like a disturbance to many people, but it's actually Krishna's best servant. So that is my way of seeing the first question. The person is flourishing, but it seems to be a disturbance to other devotees. So probably it's not a disturbance to Krishna. It's actually doing Krishna's service, just like Prabhu rightly answered. Krishna is using that person as a test of our determination, enthusiasm, patience, etc. So it's Krishna's servant. And that's why it's flourishing. The second question, if somebody is disturbing others or is doing something wrong, and we know that Krishna's punishment will be very high in him, and we do nothing, do we really have the love that person had something? But then our point is this. So like we think that what he's doing is wrong and he's going to get heavy chastisement. But what if he doesn't? What if to Krishna what he's doing is actually helping in some ways? I hope you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So our perception, the way Krishna sees, is not the way we see. So if somebody you think that Krishna is going to punish him, is going to suffer for what he's doing, but he's not. Like the example of the one you said is causing disturbances, but it's flourishing. So that means that the way Krishna sees is not the way we see. So our judgment may be wrong. But we think that it is wrong, but our judgment may be wrong. So why don't we wait and let's see what happens instead of saying that, no, I have to do something to correct him because if Krishna has to chastise him, it will be heavier. How do you know? How do you know for sure that what you are seeing, your perception is right? Unless you know the past, present, and future, you cannot say absolutely that somebody is wrong. So this is the two questions seems to nullify one another. That's why I feel like I have to say something. It all depends on our own angle of perception. It's not Krishna's angle of perception. That is the thing. So if we think that Krishna would do like this, and he doesn't do that, that means that we should recheck the way we are thinking ourselves. Because we are not Krishna, and we should not take the role of Krishna. So anyway, that's my little contribution. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Shri ADVAITA-ACARYA Prabhu, please, if you have something to say in this connection, please, you may.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sriman Varaha Prabhu. Yeah, there was something that I wanted to emphasize, that time will tell. Usually time tells in terms of who is who. And as they say in Mexico, it's Spanish, I guess they say it in Spain too, Krishna sabe todo. Krishna knows everything and time will tell. in terms of what's happening, because we're only seeing from our own limited angle. And again, all of this, I don't wish to say from the point of view of minimizing or discrediting the importance of protection and providing safety, so there's no situations that are blatantly abusive or hurtful. There are ways to communicate that. We should never be okay with that also as a society. So there are boundaries that we should be aware of and insist on in terms of the safety, because I believe that's what's given by Guru and Gauranga. Purification, yes, but it is not forced upon us. It is rather a voluntary thing, and it's based on a healthy relationship that stands on, any healthy relationship stands on love and trust.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Shri ADVAITA-ACARYA Prabhu and Srimad Acharya Prabhu. Thank you so much for your contribution.
I think Govinda Prabhu's hands is up.
Oh, Govinda Prabhu, then you may unmute, please. I didn't see. Hare Krishna.
Go ahead, Sadhu Prabhu. I cannot speak right now, or where am I right now? I cannot. So somebody else can. Yeah.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Thank
I'll
you.
come back. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, dear devotees, what I would like to say is that what Srimad Prabhu was saying some time ago, I don't want to go into details, but there was a devotee who were doing Krishna Janmashtami. So we were doing Abhishek. And Giranagri, Radha Damodara, only the Brahmins go and offer the Abhishek on the altar. So there was one devotee who was going to offer Abhishek on the altar. And one devotee stopped him. And the reason the devotee stopped him was because he was not an ISKCON devotee. Now there was back and forth argument. Some devotees were saying that, if our Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj were to be here physically, he would have let him go on the altar to offer. And I came in, I said, how do you know? How do you know that Gurudev would have let him go? What you're saying is an assumption. You are assuming nobody understands the Guru. So you cannot say that Gurudev would have permitted him to go. I cannot say Gurudev would not have permitted him to go. So whatever we are doing now is based on Sadhu, Guru, Shastra. What do we know from the scriptures, from Guru, from Sadhu, that we have to use to work on whatever is going on? So of course, I do not know Krishna's plan. I do not know why Krishna has placed this particular devotee causing so much pain to other devotees. I do not know. But I can fairly say that by using Sadhu, Guru, Shastra, I can tell whether this is appropriate, should be encouraged, should be tolerated or not. And based on that, I sometimes, when I see something, and based on my own little understanding and approach in Krishna consciousness, I do what I feel is needful. Now, my prayer, as I always say, is that in the course of doing what I feel is right, I do not disrespect, I do not insult, I do not look down on anyone, but I should do that out of love. And that is my mood. And I do not know if someone can offer me a better understanding and approach than the mood I have, that I do not know Krishna's mind. I cannot tell whether Krishna wants this to happen or not to happen. But Krishna has provided me with Sadhu Guru Shastra as the parameters to check whether this behavior is appropriate or not. So that is what I do. Shri ADVAITA-ACARYA Prabhu and Srimad Acharya Prabhu, and of course, devotees here, and whoever may be listening. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, if ADVAITA-ACARYA Prabhu, you allow me, I can give a quick response because I'm going to go back into the car right now.
Okay.
I'll be doing in a few minutes. So, so what you're saying, that is the norm using the barometer of Guru Sadhu Shastra. But because we cannot assume that our knowledge of the Shastra is perfect. We cannot assume that we know everything perfectly. So for that reason, even when we're reacting towards a situation, we have to do it with detachment. We have to do it with detachment. Just say what we have to say. Maybe that can help the situation, but we should not be attached to the result. We should not insist that it has to be like this, and we think that, Krishna, no, what is happening. No, we do it with detachment. And and if we cannot cope with the situation, we excuse ourselves from the situation. Yeah, that is allowed. That we excuse ourselves from the situation if it's really disturbing us. But that Krishna's plan will manifest along the line, like Prabhu said. Time will tell. But if we are getting disturbed, our service is getting disturbed, and nothing is being done, we cannot force the solution. So we should excuse ourselves from the situation. That is my contribution. Maybe Prabhu has something better. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I find it always dangerous when somebody comes, yeah, Krishna is telling me, or Guru is telling me, and Guru is not even around. That's always a red flag. That kind of confidence, for me, it's always a red flag. And that's why it's always good to check. The safeguards are, in that case of should that person go or not, safeguards are temple authorities and whatever they decide. It's not all set in stone, even their decisions. It's a subject to discussion. And it is expected that communication should always stay open. We should always be more eager to hear and to understand before we demand to be understood. That's why we have 2 ears. We should hear more. But yeah, it is concerning if somebody is like adamant about, well, this is what Guru and Krishna wants. And they don't leave enough room for just basic communication. Yeah, devotee is always open to hear, because it's fine tuning. It's very delicate, especially when Guru moves on and he's not around. Then, if we don't hear from those that Guru we know has entered their hearts. When Guru leaves, he leaves only to enter the hearts of those who follow him. So not hearing from Guru in that form, in that way, is very dangerous. And we see that also in Prabhupada's movement. There's many God brothers and God sisters. But once they start hearing from each other, then that becomes a source of all kinds of difficulties in community building and spiritual survival.
Hare Krishna.
Because your love for me, you will show the way you cooperate with each other.
Yeah. Well, sorry, I must say thank you to both of you, and of course all the assembled Vaishnavi devotees. What Srimad Prabhu said is just a reminder. Myself being an African, we have lots of adages, lots of sayings. We have the saying that one can force the horse to the riverside, but you cannot force the horse to drink the water. Krishna has also told us through Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita that we should become very much involved in our activities, in our service, but we should never become attached to the fruits of our labor. So with that spirit, of course, I'm not there yet, but personally, I try to do what I feel is necessary. I leave the results to Krishna. But in the course of trying to right the wrong, I work as if there is no God in existence. And I believe that is actually the difference between the Western world and places like Africa. Because places like Africa, whatever happens, someone will say, I leave it up to God. In the Western world, that is not how they speak. That is not their language. They have rules and regulations. And if you go against the rules and the regulations will have to address the situation. And so that is my mood. And like I said, I pray to Guru and Krishna that in the course of me doing what I feel is necessary, I do not do that with impunity, with rudeness, disrespect, and also becoming attached to what I want to see happen. But I try my best. I go all out as much as I possibly can to try to make sure that what I know through the 3 barometers that is improper is straightened out. Well, thank you all so much. I have talked so much. Shri ADVAITA-ACARYA Prabhu, your video is off. If you will turn it on. And if nobody has anything else to say, Shri ADVAITA Prabhu, if you may have concluding remark, then we may bring this to a close.
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity again. I'm always very happy to be in all of your Sangha. It's always enlivening and it's nourishing to my heart, and that I miss you very much.
I miss you too, dear big brother. See, Jagannath Prabhu is here. He's quiet.
Oh, JPD.
Yes, because he was telling me that he has 2 ears, he has 1 mouth, so he's hearing more. But sometimes he has to use his mouth also.
JP is holding back.
Yes, he's holding back. Hare Krishna.
I never liked that. Like when he's holding back.
Well,
You know who else? You know who else is holding back today?
who?
Hari Chakra Prabhu is holding back.
Oh, yeah, Harichakra Prabhu is also here. Govinda, I think he said he's in a place he might not be able to talk.
Who? Hari Chakra?
No, Govinda.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Yeah,
Hari Chakra holding back today. Also quiet.
yeah.
And Loka Devi is quiet too. You use her as an example, and then she has nothing to say.
I didn't want to use another name to get myself in trouble.
She.
Oh, there he is.
All glories to good day, all glories to Prabhupada, and all glories to the assembled devotees. And all glories to you.
Yeah.
No, I'm not holding back. I'm like JP. I want to hear.
Oh,
I'm just listening. Yeah, I'm just listening. But I had wanted to ask a question because, like Sade was saying something about if something happens, then you say you use the 3 checks, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. But my question is, personally, I think Krishna has given us a whole different levels of protection. And one of our protection that Krishna has given us is the law of good sense. The law of good sense. In other words, it's like if I'm standing at the side of the road and I see a truck coming, and I feel the urge to throw myself in front of the truck. The law of good sense should tell me that that is not what I'm supposed to do. And if I'm thinking, oh, everything is in the hands of Krishna, so Krishna, if I'm not supposed to die, even though if I throw myself in front of the truck, then I will not die. I think once I do that, then I'm violating the law of good sense. I'm intentionally violating the principle that Krishna has given me for that protection, isn't it? So what I'm saying is that there are certain situations that come up that you cannot just close your eye to it. You have to address the situation. Other than that, why is the point of us being like parents? If you are a parent and you see your baby, your child going the wrong way, and you say, oh, Krishna is in control, and do you have to keep quiet and say Krishna is in control? Or you have to do the needful? So that is my dilemma. What do we do? Don't we have to use our law of good sense?
Yeah, we got to do our part, Hari Chakra. We got to do our part. Otherwise, 2 inches too short.
Yeah.
Verse 2, Srila Rupa Goswami has glorified effort more than mercy. Our effort, our good sense, I said earlier, it cannot be purified unless we engage it.
Yeah.
That's first and foremost.
Yeah.
Prabhupada actually said over 90% things in Krishna consciousness are things of common sense. That's first and foremost. We have to become conscious. Before being Krishna conscious, we have to become conscious, aware. Utilize what Krishna has given you. You can never purify it unless you engage it. Sometimes on a morning walk, Prabhupada would, debate with disciples. Disciples would take the side of atheists or scientists. So they would go back and forth. So there was a group of devotees, they were on the side of scientists, and then there was a group of devotees, they were with Prabhupada on the side of it. So they would go back and forth. So one time Prabhupada was making a point, and then they were making another point. And then one devotee on Prabhupada's side, he started quoting Krishna. And then Prabhupada actually didn't like it. He said, why are you putting Krishna in? Don't put the Krishna in. This is plain logic. Like, leave Krishna out of it.
Hare Krishna. Beautiful. Well,
thank you, Hari Chakra Prabhu. I miss you too.
yeah, Hare Krishna. We miss you. And our obeisances.
Thank you. We miss you more. We miss you more.
Yeah.
The other day I saw your new initiate, and I was beaming. I was beaming with ecstasy. I said, "Oh, there he goes."
Yeah. Prabhuji, where did you have this initiation? Was it in Florida?
It was in Alatra. It was part of the Sunday.
Alatra.
It was part of the Sunday Feast program. Yes.
Oh, okay, Alatra. Okay.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the class and for helping spread Srila Prabhupada's mission. Dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute yourselves, and we all with one heart, one love, chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our deepest appreciation to our beloved speaker, His Grace Sri ADVAITA-ACARYA Prabhu, for sharing his love and wisdom with us all today. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Chakalpa Charivyascha, Patitana Bhavadebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. His Grace Sri ADVAITA-ACARYA Prabhu Ki Jai. All glories to Jagat Krishna Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ki Jai. Hare.
Coming Nityananda Yodashi Maha Mahotsava ki.
Jai.
Ki.
Jai.